Hey everybody, Happy New Year. This is Travis from ThinkKnowLive.Media, and I'm so excited that I get to share some things with you today. We've got a lot planned for you this year. I want to hit that on the back end of this video and maybe future videos. I want to jump right into the question and bring some value into your life. That's why you tapped on the thumbnail, is to help, to get some help, maybe to find an answer to the question. And our question of the day is this: what is it that most people don't know or don't realize about prayer? And again, this is one of those questions that to this day, I always walk into it with an assumption that most people understand exactly what prayer is. And I'm just going to make an agreement with myself to stop assuming that, because that's just not the case. It boggles my mind sometimes the way that people approach prayer or what they think prayer actually is. And so let me just share with you very quickly what it is not, and then we're going to use a good passage out of a trusty book that I've relied on my whole life to share it with you. So here's what it's not. Prayer is not putting some words out there in the atmosphere and in the universe and hoping things work out in your favor. Prayer is not about treating God like Aladdin, and as Christina used to sing, rubbing a bottle the right way, and he's not a genie, the bottle and rub it the right way. Y'all know what I'm saying. It's early still, kind of, and getting what you want. You don't get to treat God like a genie. I think if we can jump quickly into what prayer is, I would say this way: we need to remember that God isn't our servant, we're His. I'm going to say it one more time. God isn't our servant. He doesn't serve us. We serve Him. And if we can enter into prayer with just understanding that, it begins to set the scene for what prayer is. So let's jump into that. And there's a passage out of James where it says, "The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much." Now, what does this mean? There's three words that I really want to just hit on. The effective. If you want your prayers to be effective, if you want your prayers to be meaningful, it's almost like James is setting this up to say, if you want powerful prayer, then you've got to do this. And that's what he's saying. If you want effective prayer, there's something that has to be realized. So the next word is fervent. So effective, if you want powerful prayer, this is what you want. This is the posture of your heart and of your mind that you want to have. Effectual, fervent. Fervent means like all in. I'm going for it. You're doing it. You're doing this often. It's a quantitative measurement as well as a qualitative measurement is what fervency is. It's the amount of, it's the opportunities that you pray as often as you get an opportunity for it. It may not be some big, long, drawn out prayer. Sometimes it'll be a simple 1 or 2 word prayer. But the fact is that you have a posture of your heart and your mind and your body where as often as you can, you're just staying connected to God. So fervency is so important. That qualitative element is this: as often as you do that you're truly engaging your mind and your heart and your will into the prayer. It's not just, like I said, just words you're just throwing out there. It's not simple wishful thinking. It is meaningful talk to God. It's as if you can't be when it's not fervent in the area of qualitative. It's like this: it's like you having a conversation with somebody while you see them, or maybe you, or just staring at your phone. What's the quality of that conversation? It's not there. It's not there. You may be paying attention, or they may be, but it's insulting. You wonder if you're getting your point across, or they wonder if you're getting their point across to you. So don't do that. So fervency, if you want your prayers to be effective, they've got to have a quality to them and a quantity to them. That's fervency. So it's the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous. That's the next word that I want to hit on. And I think the last word for today. Righteous. If you want your prayer to be powerful, you've got to be righteous. Now that ought to really set off some alarm bells, and it needs to make you concerned. And here's why: because I think sometimes we come to God too quick, not caring about who He is, not having that posture in our mind of who He is and what He is, and again, reminding ourselves that we're the servant, not Him, that He's not a genie in a bottle, as we've already mentioned. And so sometimes we come into prayer like a spoiled brat. God, give me this, God, give me that. Well, we don't like it when our kids do that. We don't like it when somebody is just using us, when we feel like somebody just wanting to always borrow money from us or just mooch off us. Like, that's not a good relationship. And so when we talk about effectual, fervent prayer, that it has to come from a righteous person. Well, again, you may be saying, oh my gosh, well, that's not me. I'm not righteous. Well, how do you get righteous? How do you get in right standing? That's what righteousness means. How do you get in right standing with God? It's very simple. The posture, position of your heart, and of your will, your body, your spirit, everything that makes up you has to be repentant. You have to go to God in repentance. You have to not just say, God, my bad. But if you're wanting true righteousness, if you're wanting truly powerful prayer, you have to go into God with a repentant heart, saying, God, I realize there's some things that are out of alignment with you, with your will, what you would have me do. And I'm taking this prayer right now. Before I give you my laundry list of what I want, I'm going to tell you, not only am I sorry, but I need your help with this particular temptation or with this particular sin. Whether it's something you're saying or a way you're acting or reacting, whether it's how you're dealing with your relationships or your finances, whatever it is, fill in the blank. But you want powerful prayer. It starts out with repentance, and then it has to be qualitative, like really enter a meaningful conversation. And that's what prayer is. It's a conversation with God. Man, if you think about the most famous person in this world that you'd love to meet, how would you enter into that conversation? You would enter that conversation with respect and with honor. You wouldn't treat it as if it was just something you were doing for the moment, for just to do it. But you're talking not just the famous person in the world, you're talking about the one who made the world. Don't ever lose sight of that. So I want to wrap this up quickly. If you want powerful prayer, it's got to be quantitative. You got to do it as often as you can. As often as you can. It's got to be as meaningful as it could possibly be. And you've got to be in a place of right standing with God. And thank God that He provided a way through Jesus Christ for you to be in right standing with Him, so that you can pray, so that your prayers can be effective. All right. I want to go ahead and close it by just letting you guys know this one ran a little bit long. I'm excited. What I'm doing right now is a challenge to myself for your benefit, I hope. I'm doing a 30 thoughts in 30 days for all of January. Thoughts on how you can have a gangster year, like have an amazing year that's awesome, that's blessed, that is just ready to tackle life and will take you further. My hope is that you go further in 2019 through these thoughts than maybe you had originally thought you could. But anyways, man, just don't forget, this is why we're here. ThinkKnowLive.Media. I'm Travis, and we're here to make you do and help you do three things, and that's to clearly think about what it is and why it is you believe what it is you believe. We want you to know truly. We want you to truly know what it is that God says about you in His Word. And then we want you to fully live that out. We want you to have a life that is full, because that's what Jesus wants for y'all. Hey, I'm going to save some of what else we have planned for y'all in future videos. We'll talk about it later. Y'all have an amazing 2019. I will see you, Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow.